I do want to continue our conversation, as I mentioned, with retired Air Force Special Operations Commander Glenn Ignazio and Rob Sobhani, professor of Middle Eastern Studies at Georgetown University School of Foreign Service. You know, I can't wait actually to hear from both of you. Rob, if I may start with you, and you heard Robert allude to, you know, is this part of a larger chess game? Your reaction, first and foremost, of the release of the hostages tonight.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I would argue that this is really from the playbook of the Iranian regime. They take hostages and then they analyze the situation, determine when it's good timing to release them so as to show that they have a human face, all from the playbook that we've seen over the last 40 years unfold with the Iranian regime.
You know, Glenn, I would like to weave you into the conversation. When we talk about this being maybe part of a larger chess game, we talk about it being tactical. What is the end game here when we're releasing those held captive on a Friday night, a day after an Oval Office announcement? Just the timing, I would like to get your reaction.
Yeah, I think the timing is probably tied to the recent visit from President Biden, but how much was really influenced? Because this was negotiated with the Qataris greatly involved in getting them out. Now, Hamas has been quoted, and again, this is a game that anybody that's a foreign national is just a visitor here, and we'll let them go. But again, you're only seeing two. The other issue is we haven't seen a proof of life with other hostages. So the idea that they're alive, that's believed. Israel feels that is the case. But it's just not Hamas. There's also other armed factions working with Hamas that also have these hostages. So the location of them is very difficult, and it's always a bargaining chip, but it's not a chip that Israel is going to wait for to enter Gaza. So the more time that they're able to get people out, the better. But it is a bargaining chip and a complete defense for Hamas.
You know, Rob, Glenn brought up a number of good points. The proof of life that we haven't seen, the Friday night, the timing. I'm curious as to what you think the next move Israel could make when we see this chess game. We were even thinking that there could be a ground invasion tonight. Obviously, we're not seeing that. It is the middle of the night there. So what's next?
Elizabeth, I think for Israel and its security, first and foremost, it's Hamas getting rid of that organization that started this terror, started this mayhem. And then they're going to look north to Hezbollah, make sure that they are checkmated. But I think most important from Israel's long-term security perspective, it is the Islamic Republic of Iran. When the Ayatollah Khomeini came to power, one of his fundamental and priorities was the destruction of Israel. Today, the Ayatollah Khamenei, his replacement, echoes the same hatred towards Israel. And I think we will see, in the long run, a reaction from Israel towards Iran.
Okay, you know what, Rob, I want to squeeze in one more comment with Glenn, because it seems as if we always circle back. We always talk about Iran. There's been a lot of criticism with the U.S. handling of Iran. And Glenn, when we talk about moving forward, when we talk about tactic and dealing with Iran, how can we tread lightly on dealing with really someone who has had so much influence in the Middle East, and now they're really surrounding the state of Israel?
Well, you're absolutely right. And it is a big question, because you look at Hamas, you look at Hezbollah, the Houthis down in Yemen, they're all supported and are actually proxies of Iran. And now that you have this huge issue in Gaza, Hezbollah applying pressure and actually fighting and launching rockets into Israel. And actually, the Houthis launched 3 missiles that were intercepted by the U.S. Navy last night. That's the first time a U.S. Navy battle group intercepted missiles that were headed towards Israel in protection. That's what they believe. So all of these is the resistance that is really coming up that Iran is pushing for. If there is ever a direct attack on an actual Navy ship, then you're going to talk about Iran being greatly involved in a direct action against the United States, and that could be a trigger that we really have to be careful for.
Yeah, I'm so grateful for you both being here. As you look at the country on a map and you look at the web that is weaved around that country, it does take a lot to break down. I'm grateful that you were able to help us in an incredibly tense situation. And of course, for the families who are getting their loved ones back, we are so grateful for that. Thank you both for joining us tonight.
Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.